Well, hello there, Gemini. It is so good to see you again. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. If it's your first time on the channel, welcome. We're so glad to have you. Today, we are going to be doing your October career and money reading. So we'll take a look at the overall energies with the oracle cards, and then we'll move to the tarot for more details. And if you're enjoying the content that I create or resonating with the message, I'd really appreciate it if you would consider commenting, or subscribing. I really do appreciate all of your support. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, so for your animal spirit, you have spider spirit. Make your dreams real. Okay, I think it's kind of interesting because, here in the States, we're already kind of like in Halloween mode. So many people in my neighborhood have like these big spider webs up, for decorations, and the pumpkins are coming out and everything. But it's kind of like, a dream weaver. You're weaving this web. You're seeing how the different parts of your life are starting to connect. You may be even saying to yourself that you can connect the dots of different things that have happened in your life, or different experiences that you have had throughout your life. Gemini, you are so creative. You may at this time be on your second or third career, right? Like totally different careers. You're so talented in so many ways. But I think what you're doing is you're starting to see how all those different experiences, whether they're different relationships or different careers, different parts of the world maybe that you've lived in, how all of those experiences are suddenly like the dots are connecting for you. They're helping you to see the reality of who you are and where you are going. And then we have traveling lightly, simplify your life. Really, wow. With this, I am really getting the message about dropping those burdens that are in your life that are holding you back, getting you stuck in this web. It's almost as if when the dots are connected for you, you're going to be able to break free from the web that you may feel like you're stuck in. The spider doesn't get stuck in its own web, right? But I feel as if there's almost this energy that people around you have kind of almost created this web that is holding you back from what it is that you truly want. You may have been stuck in this web for a little while because you were trying to figure out what it is that you truly wanted, the dream that you wanted to bring into reality. But now it's almost like you see the bigger picture of it all. The dots are connecting for you, and suddenly you can walk away. But you know what you're doing? It's so interesting. You're leaving those people, situations that were kind of sticky in your life, okay, stuck in the web. And so you can move forward very lightly. I feel like a lot of you, you've been moving away from people and situations in your life that are toxic, but it's almost like you're breaking free of this web. You can move forward. Yeah, deceptions on the bottom. I think a lot of you, reading your comments, and, some of you, really share, your stories in the comments. And it's just so inspiring, how no matter how stuck you have been in your life at times, that you held hope for moving forward. So thank you for sharing those stories, because I know they inspire others, but they definitely inspire me to stay hopeful, even in those times when we do feel stuck. So let's go to the tarot. Let's get you some more details here. Oh, interesting. Oh my goodness, this is lovely energy. Gemini, I don't know about you, but the last 3 weeks have been really difficult with that Mercury retrograde. Mercury has finally gone direct. It is going to go retrograde again next week. But it's kind of like, we're finally breaking free of the web of all of these retrogrades. We're finally breaking free of some of the, cosmo astrology that has been holding us back. And I feel like you are really being called to come forward, to truly step onto your path. Oh my goodness. Gemini, this is beautiful. Nice. Okay, so on the bottom, oh my goodness, you have love. You know, you've been having this a little bit in your readings, kind of like, I'm not saying it's coming in, you know, in October, but it's kind of like this energy. I think for some of you, you're starting to open your heart to the idea of having love in your life again. And it's not necessarily just romantic love, right? I mean, I think there is romance with it, but it's also like you have been through so much that you understand there's more to a relationship than just physical intimacy, just having, you know, another person in your life. There's so much more that you want out of a romantic situation than just that. And you have the home card. You know, this is a little bit of the hermit card, no place like home. I think some of you may be actually moving. You know, moving locations, you know, getting out of this web, traveling to some new location. For some of you, you could be downsizing. You could be literally like selling all of your furniture, a lot of your belongings. You might be deciding to, you know, buy like a RV or something, or, you know, traveling in some kind of a camper or some vehicle like that. It's almost as if I need to go out and, you know, it's interesting because we have the discovery card here. We'll get to that in a minute, but I almost feel like you're going out, you're trying to discover something. And the message I'm getting is that it's almost as if you're, oh, Gemini, I think you had a reading like this a while ago, almost as if you're being called to move to some new location or to travel to some new location where you're going to meet other like-minded people. It's almost as if the dots in your web, okay, are connecting. Really interesting. They're kind of showing me, I don't know what you call that. It almost looks like what I would call a golf ball, the shape of the golf ball with all the little, you know, divots in it, the little cups, I guess. So it's kind of like in that shape. It's spherical, but it's see-through, and it's made up of all of these little tiny spider webs. Really interesting. I think actually kids have something like that they can play with, that it kind of expands out and then goes in, you know, something like that. Yes, it's going to be expanding. There's something that is expanding, and I feel like you may be called or feel this need to travel to a certain location, or you could be trying to travel to a new home. Really interesting. Yeah, you know, your higher self is being called here. It's really interesting that it's almost as if you're being called, and look, happy success, courage, you know, friends and colleagues. See, I think you have other like-minded people. And of course, Gemini, that's going to be different for all of you because your, you know, soul purpose is different. Each of you has a different soul purpose, but it's almost as if each of you have these other connections that you are going to soon be making, other soulmates that you are bringing in, whether they're romantic or not. It's almost as if you are moving towards that direction. If you notice, she's on hot air balloon, right? It's kind of like you can see into your future. You know that your home is somewhere else, like you have to travel to it. We have Queen of Pentacles on the bottom and then the Temperance card. You know, I will have to say, I mean, no gender, you know, here, but it's kind of like the divine feminine is really speaking out lately in my readings. And look at this divine feminine energy, you know, really home and hearth, coming into this sense of taking really good care of you, focusing on you, focusing on your finances, focusing on your health, on your spirituality, you know, your mental health, and also, you know, the Temperance. You know, I love this energy because she's like meditating there, really connecting with nature. balancing out. This is the 3D. This is more the 5D, kind of balancing out those energies so that you can move forward. And then look at what we have, the 10 of Cups. You know, true fulfillment, whether it's in a relationship or just in the work that you're doing, because this is your career and money. But it is interesting. I think for a lot of you, you have someone that is going to be coming onto your path shortly, that is going to help you with your spiritual evolution or your spiritual work, your purpose here. Really, wow, come to the edge. You know, after a long time of perhaps almost, you know, to me, all that glitters means focusing on the materialistic, you know, hiding ourselves, that type of thing. You've learned that that only orphans you. You're stepping into this energy of coming to the edge and saying, okay, I have to go in a new direction. I'm no longer waiting. You know, that the time is now. I feel like you are being called at this time. So let's take a look at your present energy. Unbelievable. You have the true love card. So being able to look at yourself in the mirror and love every aspect of you, whether it's the physical, the mental, the emotional, or the spiritual, you love every single aspect of yourself because you have taken the time to look really deep inside your own eyes, inside your own soul, inside your own mind, into your own heart to figure out what it is that you want. And you may not know the path ahead of you clearly, but it's almost as if you don't know like clearly what it is that you want, you know what you don't want. And that's the message I'm getting. And you know, that is the beginning of learning what we do want, right? Sometimes we have to go through relationships or situations to figure out, okay, that is not what I want. You know, like we have so many options. It's kind of like, that's not what I want. And then look at this. You have something fated that is coming in, a windfall from the universe. It's because you've taken this time to really and truly look at yourself and love every aspect of yourself. And now you're making choices that are really good for you. You're not making choices that are based on what other people want for you. This takes a lot of courage. You know, we don't have the courage card here, but I'm going to say this takes a lot of courage to step to the edge and say, yes, I am going to go on my own path. I have the courage, the determination, the perseverance to know that when I step on that path, I may not have a lot of things with me, and yet at the same time, I know my spirit guides and angels are with me. They will help me. The universe will back me and provide the people and things that I need in order to be successful. This is the universe coming in and giving you everything that you need in order to meet your fated spiritual purpose. So if you are on your path of moving into your spiritual purpose, even if you're working at a job right now to help, you know, pay the bills because that's reality. But on the side, maybe you're writing a book or you're starting a YouTube channel or you're learning how to become a healer or a teacher or some other type of mystic, right? It's kind of like music. They're saying music, composing music, whatever your purpose is. If you're putting time and energy into it, the universe is going to help open up these options for you so that you can move more quickly into your purpose. It's almost as if the universe is calling to you and saying, Gemini, now is the time. It's time to pick up the few things that you have, right? And to move forward. So here's the obstacle that you are going to be overcoming this month. You know, there's something that you are trying to manifest. This is by the book. It's also the number 11. Okay, so it's a master number. This is the law of attraction. There's something that you're trying to bring in for yourself. But I feel like a lot of you, and this card, I'll have to say, has been coming out a lot in my readings lately. But the professional assistance is, you know, knowing that you have to have some help. Okay, now the message that I'm getting is that usually when I see this card, I think lawyer, accountant, bookkeeper, mentor, you know, and you may be needing to ask questions there. Okay, the message I got is to ask your spirit guides. If you don't yet have a daily practice of meditating or talking to your spirit guides and angels, I really encourage you to do that now, to ask them for the help, the guidance, the just, sometimes all we want is their intervention. When I pray to my angels, I just ask them I give them permission and ask them to please intervene in my life, right? In my highest good, because I know that they have my back. But our spirit guides and angels don't necessarily just jump in, they hold back. We have to give them permission to step in and to watch our backs, right? And to help us along on the path. Not that they're not there, but when you speak to them, when you take time every day just to reach out to them, you are on a spiritual journey. If you're being called to this channel, you're on your spiritual path. You're working on your spiritual purpose, whether you know clearly what that is or not, okay? And if you don't, maybe it's time to start asking those questions of your spirit guides and angels, because you're getting this new inspiration. By going and asking for their guidance, you get this amazing new inspiration. It's kind of like you get the clarity, you get the motivation. It's almost as if you're kind of like, oh yeah, I mean, look at this. It's almost like if you're feeling stuck in the web, right? The asking for their help suddenly opens up this inspiration. You see how the dots connect, and suddenly you're like, oh my goodness, okay, I'm ready to walk away. I can do this now. I know the way forward. Really inspiring. It really is. So let's take a look at your advice. Oh my goodness, look at this. We have serendipity. Something's coming in very quickly, out of the blue, very much of a surprise. This wheel of fortune, when it turns quickly, right? And I feel like you have this discovery that helps you to bring in this emotional balance. It could be the one thing that is holding you back is the emotional balance. When we're leaving people, situations behind, whether we realize it or not, sometimes we're sadder about that than we realize. And Gemini, you're very good at shoving down the feelings, putting a smile on your face, moving forward. You're very much pull yourself up by the bootstrap type of person and keep going. And that is a wonderful trait to have. But there are times when we need to stop and take a look at what we're feeling. It's almost as if discovering, how you feel about a certain person, situation, or even your purpose. How do you feel? Is there something that's really kind of gnawing at you about the world, or some injustice that you would like to have seen right? Because look at the King of Cups. You see how he's holding the ship straight, right? And the cups, the ocean, it represents our emotions. He's learned how to control his emotions so that they don't rock the boat back and forth. And our emotions can sometimes drive our actions, but those emotions don't always drive our actions in the right direction. So it's about learning how to control our emotions in a healthy way, recognizing our feelings, taking a look at them, verifying them, validating them, right? I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm upset about something and somebody says to me, oh, what are you so upset about? That's not a big deal, right? And that I'm even hurt more, right? Because it's like somebody doesn't even validate that I have a certain feeling. We feel validated, we feel worthy, we feel loved, cherished when they don't have to agree with our feelings, okay? But just that they validate, that they say, oh, I understand that you're feeling sad or happy or regretful or whatever, right? anxious. It's really anxious, right? Sometimes. So it's about validating our feelings, but then also recognizing, okay, I have that feeling, but I can still take action going forward. And I think that's part of your discovery. I think you may be anxious. If you're feeling anxious at this time, or you're feeling fearful of going in this new direction and you're not really sure that you can trust yourself or trust the universe or trust what's out there, right? That it's almost like too big and scary for you. It's kind of like, no, you have learned how to control your emotions, to validate them, not to shove them down, to validate them, and then also be able to move forward in a very productive way. Wow, really interesting. Okay, so let's go to your soul truth card and see what we have here. Who am I ready to forgive? Ah, interesting, because I'm coming back to this, right? I think part of the discovery is discovering who you are ready to forgive. Okay. Sometimes, this is difficult. We can say, and Gemini, I'm going to preface this because I think you're one of the most forgiving signs in the zodiac. You're very quick to forgive and forget and to move on. It's one of your lovely traits. But sometimes, Gemini, you can shove those feelings down, okay, instead of kind of like even validating them with yourself. It's not so much that others have to validate our feelings, it's us validating our own feelings. And I feel like there's a discovery here that you are making during this month of October, understanding what is really holding you back. You may feel like there's a person, a situation in your life that is holding you back from truly stepping onto your spiritual purpose, or, changing your career direction or where you're spending your money. It's almost as if you're discovering what is really holding you back. And what is holding you back is your own emotions. Okay. So, when it says make your dreams real under here, right? It's about you can make your dreams real when you no longer allow your emotions, whether you recognize it or not at this time, your emotions are holding you back. It's your fear, your anxiety, your concern about the future that is holding you back. It's discovering this little nugget here, which is really our own confidence in ourselves, right? Our own trust in ourselves. But I really think that the big thing you're learning this month is that you can also trust your spirit guides and angels by simply asking for their help along the way. And so let's read this. I am not what happened to me. I am who I chose to become. It is time to let go, forgive, and move onward. Is your soul ready to forgive someone else or yourself? Right? Forgiveness brings sweet release, freedom, and insight. Look at it from their shoes. Notice how you grew and what you learned. Who do you want to become? And how is this resistance holding you from what your soul wants? And, Gemini, I really think that the person that you're really, you may, okay, and Gemini, I see in your comments all the time where you're like, I have forgiven the past and I'm moving forward, right? But there's this part of you that this month, I think you're stepping into this energy of forgiving yourself. There's something here about when we draw in toxic situations or relationships, when we have people that we have attracted into our life and then they hurt us, a lot of times we can forgive and move on, but there's a part of us that doesn't forgive ourselves. It's almost like we don't trust ourselves anymore. It's like I'm afraid to manifest anything new because in the past, I manifested perhaps a romantic partner, right? I manifested a romantic partner and that didn't work out. So I'm not sure I really want to manifest a new one because I don't think it's almost like you don't trust yourself to manifest correctly, right? And so I think that you're asking for professional assistance from your spirit guides and angels on how to manifest, right? It's almost as if you're saying to them, okay, I need a little bit of guidance. Last time I manifested in a romance, it didn't work out the way that I wanted it to. But now you are recognizing what you do not want. Remember, go back to the beginning of this reading. We were talking about you have figured out what you don't want. You may not know what you want, but you know what you don't want. And so it's about trusting yourself, stepping into that energy of perhaps having more conversations with your spirit guides and angels, allowing them to help you with manifesting what the next step is. And simply just asking, what is the next step? I trust the universe. I trust my spirit guides and angels to show me the light, the discovery, the light, the golden nugget of how to move forward. I think it's interesting because underneath here, you had all that glitters, right? This is like fool's gold. What you're discovering is the true gold of life. What would you rather have? A whole pile of fool's gold, or would you rather have just one nugget of pure, true gold, right? Solid gold, real, true gold, authentic gold. And that's what I think you are coming into, is recognizing that when you are staying authentic with yourself, when you forgive yourself for whatever has come onto your path, right? That you may have attracted in the past, you may have manifested in the past. It's kind of like, okay, I can do this. I've become more authentic, right? I no longer allow my emotions to be rocked back and forth depending on who or what is going on around me. Now I go within, I follow my own heart, and I know that I have the courage to be successful on this path. Well, I love that so much. Well, Gemini, I do personal readings. I'd be really honored to be able to do a reading for you. And I really appreciate all of your support through liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I hope to see you again really soon. Much love and light to you. Bye for now.